with the educated opinion on topics of all varieties. This your boy Bubba, and you already know what I'm about to say, right? You are listening to Bubba's Banter. Y'all, what's good, y'all? It's your motherfucking boy. I ain't gotta say no names, right? But I am, anyways. It's your boy Bubba, and you are watching and also listening to Bubba's Banter. That was dramatic as fuck. But I am doing good. I'm feeling good. I'm living well. All of those good things. I'm finally back home. Well, actually, I've been back home, but I just didn't drop a podcast last week because I was just so drained from the weekend. I went to Dory Alley, as I like to call it, Dory. Some people call it Dory too, but you know, black people, we just love to give everything a nickname. So I went to Dory in San Francisco, and it was a fun weekend. And if you ask me what is Dory Alley, I'm going to tell you to Google it because I don't want to get in trouble on YouTube. I want my account to get a strike for some crazy shit. But just know it was crazy and fun, and I prefer it over Folsom at this point. I mean, I've only been to Folsom once, but I think Dory just felt very like me vibes. So definitely want to go back to Dory next year. But I am going back to San Francisco for Barrison Street Fair because I've never been, and I want to see what it's like. That's more bear-like, so I want to see how fun that's going to be. So I'm going to check that out. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing good and living well. We're going to start tonight's show off with saying, I know y'all about to do what I'm about to ask y'all to do. Hit that motherfucking subscribe button. I'm corny as fuck for that. I know y'all thought I was gonna make some type of announcement, huh? Y'all was like, "Oh, he about to say some new shit." Okay, nah. Hit that motherfucking subscribe button, please. That helps me get out there in the algorithm, and it just makes it more fun for me, right? Also, give me a thumbs up because why not? It's fucking free, and it also gets me out there in the algorithm too. And hit that share button because, of course, it gets me out there in the algorithm, and people know who I am and tune in to my shows. And I know y'all like to listen to the sexy ass voice because some of y'all are probably listening to it right now. Bubba's Banter Podcast is a podcast that streams on multiple platforms like iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and multiple more. If you just click the link down in the description, you'll see exactly where I'm at. But if you do use Spotify, please make sure you listen to me on there because this podcast is hosted by Spotify for creators, okay? So let's get right into the show for tonight. So tonight's conversation is going to be very complex, actually, because I don't know if you guys saw my Random Thoughts episode that I posted on YouTube. I was talking about black bears who don't know if they really want to find community within the bear community or they want to have proximity to whiteness. But then I also saw a video that kind of makes me want to push back on or talk about, not push back on, but want to talk about performative inclusivity because it's just so rampant and everyone's a grifter nowadays. Everybody's a fucking grifter on the internet nowadays. Like, you don't know what's real, but everybody's a fucking grifter on the internet nowadays. So tonight's conversation is going to be a little complex, and I don't know how people are going to receive it, but I also don't kind of give a fuck either. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't give a fuck. This is my shit. But I just really want to talk about that. But before I talk about that, for my straight people out there, because I know it's a lot of straight people who watch me as well. If you don't know what a bear is a big, stocky, supposedly hairy type of guy. Nowadays, you could be a bear. Pretty much anybody can be a bear. But the bear community started back in like the 1980s, and it was with a group of gay men living in San Francisco that felt like they just did not fit into like the mainstream gay culture, and so they created a subculture, of the whole LGBTQ thing, and they created social clubs and bars and events and media, like their own porn magazines and stuff like that with the type of guys what you would describe as a bear. And so there's a hierarchy system too. Like you have your bear, who is a bigger, hairy guy. And then you have your cub, who's a big guy who's young, and then you have your daddy bear, who's an older, bigger guy who's hairy, and then you have your otter, someone who's not necessarily skinny or a twink, but like, a little thickum, like not thickums, but like in between thick and skinny, I guess you could say. Um, but it's very hairy, and then you have your muscle bears, and then you have your chubs. Well, chub kind of has its own like community because I often get people saying, "Oh, you're a muscle chub," and I'm like, oh, "Okay," but now they calling me like, "Oh, you turning into a muscle queen," whatever. But chub kind of has its own like category, its own community, but like I think it's still kind of like still is part of the community. And then you have your chasers, of course, who chase after the bigger guys. They tend to be skinny, or otter size who chase after bigger dudes. Hence chub, right? There's chub chasers, right? So yeah. So there's a hierarchy system within the bear community. And oftentimes people feel a certain type of way about this because a lot of people will say, especially people POC, will say that the bear community did not have people of color in mind when it came to building this community. I mean, even with like the flag being, created, I guess the creator had said that the flag was created for every color of the bear. So like grizzly bear, black bear, white bear, uh, 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 um, um, grizzly bear, all the bears, right, in mind. And so some people was like, oh, it's supposed to represent all color of bears or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I think that's more about fur versus actual race. But you know that's how I feel. But I agree that some of this does have a point that a lot of people did not. A lot of those people, I assume that those people did not think about black people in mind. I assume that these people just thought about creating something that was going to bring everyone together. And they didn't really think about, oh, should we include black people or make black people feel special? I think they probably just said, people who look like this, we want them in this. And then the people who already in that felt that way was like, okay, let's curate this space to be like this. You know, I do want to bring a little bit of nuance to it because I think a lot of times when it comes to creating, environments or atmospheres, a lot of times people don't think about race stuff, because it's like, who will actually get involved with having to go into a bar and there's sex that happens at the bar? Like who would be okay with that? Who would be down for that? So let me create a space like that for those groups of people. They don't really think about the groups of people that go into the environment and make the atmosphere toxic. That's a different thing. You know what I'm saying? So this is where I want to talk about this video. I really want to talk about, performative inclusivity, right? And this video is like kind of like really what it is, actually. Just that's how I feel about it. But let's watch it right quick. So before I start, actually, I want to give some backstory. So this person lives in Texas. I actually followed this dude, did not know that I followed him, and I didn't know. I went to his page and I was like, oh shit, he actually does have the comments cut off on this page, um, on this picture because I saw it and I was like, oh wow. But here's what he said: "What an amazing day celebrating pride and friendship. So many great memories were made. Thank you to everyone who joined us to make this day special." It wasn't just pride, number one. It was actually a birthday party as well. And all the friends showed up, right? And so as we look at the photo, there's a lot of, white people, a lot of white passing folks. We see a few of the tokens there probably, but hey, it is what it is. But um, it's this person's party, so I don't really care. But let's listen to what this content creator had to say.
White gays. Yeah, but it's just a preference. Yeah, girl, no, trust me, it's just a preference. It is. I told you, whenever it starts coming to some of these white gays, especially during Pride Month, they really start showing their true colors or color when it comes to them posting their pool party pics because look, be so fucking for real.
Girl, you did this motherfucking pressed over a party that you're not even at. Like you don't even live in. I don't know where he lives, but like, come, you not like you really had stress over a party.
What's even funnier about this is that they will literally be dead ass in the comments saying, guys, this is nothing like who we are. We are not racist people. Like, we love diversity and inclusion. The
I
entire
mean, I
pool
can agree
giving
with
Brady
that.
Bunch, and they want to be out here talking about, oh, it's not a preference, bitch. It's giving Hidden Valley Rancho. What are you talking about? And what's even funnier is that it's nothing but a bunch of gays and some Latino gays in the comments dragging them. This one person said, where's the seasoning, y'all?
Why is it always like the Latino gays and white gays that try to act like they're fucking inclusive and want to like talk shit and say, "Oh, where's the seasoning at?" Yeah, never mind. Because it's giving cosplay as a black person. Because these are things that black people will say. But
fit only. Wow, the diversity is insane. It's giving cold.
I
That's a
shouldn't have said
lot of
that, but
mayo.
it's
This one really
true.
took me the fuck out. This one guy said, mayo and raisin potato salad. Where's the diversity? Because, like, girl, spill the tea. These are the same people that literally get up on here talking about, we love Pride Month. We want to accept people for who they are and the inclusion and diversity. But at the time, this is what they really mean. If you look white, mask, and muscular. Once again, they put all the darkest ones in the fucking middle of the picture.
First off, motherfucker, this is somebody's house. This ain't an event. This ain't an event. This ain't at a bar. This ain't at a club. This ain't at a pool. This ain't at a place where you can do things. This is at somebody's house. This ain't at an Airbnb. This is somebody's house. This is a private event. I get to do what the fuck I want to do at my shit. What the fuck do you mean? What the fuck what you mean? Get the fuck out of here. I actually like this content creator. I forgot his name, but he actually does have some bad takes and some good takes. I should have said good first, but he does have some good takes on certain things. And I like his content. But he always fucking complains. And I no disrespect to you, fam, but it's low key annoying because there's so many things that's happening in our world today that we need to be worried about over the simple fact is that there's not enough black people or enough femme people or enough trans people at somebody's fucking private pool party. That's weird. That's weird. Why do you want to be a token? We'll talk about that later, but why do you want to be a token? Stop it. It's not that deep, fam. I get it. I really do get it. I get it. Inclusivity is very important, and I really do believe in that. I really do believe in it. But I think there's a difference between, representation and, personal relationships, right? Like when I think of representation, I think of businesses, public organizations, work, you know, events, advertisement. I think of stuff like that. I think of stuff like that because that makes sense when it comes to that. But like, should I be a barbecue, a birthday party, a pool party, like stuff like that? Like that's mine. Why the fuck are you auditing my friend group and my guest list? Why do you care about who comes to my fucking house? Why are you making a video of a photo that I post up on my page at my house in my that's crazy to me. These are not public events. It's not a public event, motherfucker. Okay, so what is during Pride? Do you want to be a token? And that's the thing that I want to get like, do we have to make our private parties, do we need to make the guest list diverse? Do we have to? Do we have to? In fact, do we have to have diversity in our friendship? I would say yes, but have to? Not really. You can be friends with whoever the fuck you want to be friends with. It's different when you go out your way and say, oh, I don't want to be friends with black people, or I don't want to be friends with white people, or I don't want to be friends with Latino people. That's problematic as fuck. But like trying to make friendship should be organic. It should be organic. Fuck the optics. Fuck the optics. And that's why we have so many grifters today. That's why we have so many people grifting because people know they can make money off this shit. I feel like grifting at this point has become like this fucking, like content, like outrage content has become a currency. And so they know if they talk about these things, it's gonna get them money. And so they post shit like this and talk about it and just rant on it. And it goes viral and boom. So to me, again, there's a difference between having, personal relationships and representation, at least to me. And the question that I asked you, friend, is this. So if you were upset that there wasn't enough POC or whatever in the video, what are you actually asking for? I think you really are asking for tokenism. Why do like you have to understand that these people handpick people. They handpick people. Oh, trans person here, black person there, Latino person there, Indian person there, boop. A woman here, boop. Why do you want tokenism? I don't want to be tokenized. I don't need things to look a certain way for the optics. First off, black people do it too. Latino people do it too. Asian people do it too. Straight people do it too. Lesbians do it too. They have their types of parties where the population of people there happen to be black, white, or Latino, or Asian, or woman, or man. They have them, or mixed co-ed, because straight people. Never mind. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean, bro? Like why? Like why? Like I get things should be more inclusive, but like we're not checking boxes here, y'all. We're not checking boxes. We're not doing things for the optics. It should not matter. And I think that's the problem. Is like, I feel like the quickest way to dehumanize any person is to reduce them down to a fucking representation. It really is, because I am more than just being a black person. I am more than just being a black person. Literally. That's not my whole entire. I'm more than being gay. So I don't want to be picked because I'm black and gay. I don't want to be. I want to be picked because I can get the job done, nigga. I want to be picked because of this. I want to get back onto the bear community conversation, because I feel like there is something that I really wanted to touch on about this. Is that now I did talk a lot of shit in that video about black men black bears wanting to be in proximity to whiteness. I still do believe that, but it does not take away the fact that there is a lot of racism that happens within this community. It really does. And, outside of all the fetishization and all of the, all these things, it exists. And it's something worth having a conversation on. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, you know, as someone who lives in the Pacific Northwest, born and raised, I came out in 2014. I'm telling you right now, going through the friend groups that I went through, like there's so much racism within the bear community, especially here. Especially here. It's so fucking rampant, and it's just so weird. And I think it's because Portland is such a small city. The gay community is small itself, and then black people in Portland, and then a small black LGBTQ in Portland. So it just makes it even smaller. So it makes these things kind of hide its ugly rear head. And just dealing and on top of being in the Pacific Northwest and dealing with passive aggressive men and women, it just makes it's such a complex situation that, like, you just don't have any control over it at some point. You know what I'm saying? Like this is off, I'm gonna get off topic for a second, but like I had a situation where I was talking to this guy, and he's telling me like, oh, I don't really plan hookups. I only do hookups like when I see somebody in those spaces where we can, do the thing. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. I understand everyone got their own little kinks and how they do things, you know what I'm saying? 2 days later, 2 days later, I went and hooked up with somebody that hooked up with him, right? Because Portland is small. And we were pillow talking. We had just got done doing the do, and we were pillow talking. We was going through our, Instagrams, or not Instagrams, but our little, alt pages on X. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I fucked with blah blah blah." And I was like, "Oh really?" He was like, "Yeah." He was like, I'm actually meeting him tomorrow at his place to do blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna." And I was like, "You're lying." He was like, "No, I am." He's like, "Look," and I was like, "Oh, okay." And he was like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "Nothing." And he was like, "Tell me." And I was like, "Well, he told me he don't plan hookups, so." I was like, like what? Like you told me you don't play hookups, but like I'm sitting here and I got the evidence right in my face. Okay. Like, and I'm like, I'm not gonna approach him about it because I just don't think it's that deep. It's just like it's the passive aggressiveness that happens so much with people where it's like they're not really attracted to you like that. So it's like they have a hard time having that conversation about how like, I don't want to hook up with you. I just thought it was weird. Like it's like one of the weirdest things to do with somebody when you can just say, hey, I don't think it's a match. And you know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, it's not a match. It's not a match. I'm cool with that. But I don't want to get off topic. But it's just dealing with passive aggressive shit like that in Portland and having racism on top of it makes it even worse. And I think that's the thing. And then don't let me forget about the whole fetishization of black men. I had a situation where I had went to a friend's pool party, and me and my best friend was there, and our friend Gary, and was chilling. We were talking, and we were standing by the pool, and we're actually, I think we were getting ready to one of us was getting ready to leave. I think it was our friend Gary was getting ready to leave. He came down to say bye to us, and we're talking, and this white old man walks by, and he's like, "Hi, gentlemen," blah blah blah, and like we're like, "Hey, what's up?" Conversation. He's like, "You guys are not gonna get in the pool," and we're like, "Nah, not tonight. Not today. Next time. Next time we'll be in the pool." And he was like, "Oh man, come on, get in the pool." He was like, "Add to the bear soup. We need some dark meat in there. We need some dark meat." And I looked at my best friend. He looked at me. I walked up the stairs. I was like, "I'm gonna cut one because I'm at my friend's pool party, and I know they're not like that. They're very like good people, and they wouldn't say some racist shit like that. But like having to deal with that in a space, where it's like some white people just don't get it. And it's like, how do I like you know, without making it seem like every, you know, white space is not problematic? How do I try to show people that these spaces are not problematic when you have problematic people in these environments? Like it's so hard. And that's what I'm saying. So, but I'm saying I know that there is a lot of racism within our community, but it still does not excuse the fact that a lot of black gay men are pursuing, you know, whiteness. Yeah, you thought I forgot about that. You thought I was not gonna touch it, but I'm gonna touch it. This is my problem with this. Maybe I shouldn't say black bears are wanting proximity to whiteness. Maybe I should say that I don't understand or question why do some black bears measure acceptance by how they are, you know, chose when they're in proximity to white people or white spaces, right? Because like I show up me everywhere. I me everywhere. Everywhere I go, I am me. I am him. And I don't give a fuck who I am him. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. I slur my words, I talk a certain way, I dress a certain way. I am him. I am me. I don't expect these motherfuckers to like me because I am me. I am me. I don't care about none of that shit. I don't need I'm not gonna lie to you, there was a point where I did when I first came out because I was young as hell. And I wanted to find community and I wanted to be around people and I wanted to have a community. I love bears and I love big bodies and I love daddies. I wanted to be around these people so bad. So I needed to be a certain way to get these people to be attracted to me. I get it. But that does not mean sacrifice who the fuck you are to have this proximity of these people. Grow the fuck up. Accept yourself. I have a daddy, right? My daddy is white. I'm colored by this white this because that's my BD my fetish shit. I ain't gonna get into that. But I'm colored by a man who is a daddy and he is a white man. That man ain't never made me feel uncomfortable about being black. I never had to raise an eyebrow to him about anything about black shit at all or race things at all. In fact, I remember the first time I talked to him about flogging, and he was like, maybe at home, but not in public. I just wouldn't want somebody to see this big white man flog hitting a black dude with a whip. Like that just don't look. He literally said that to me the first time I asked him about flogging me, and he was like, maybe at home, not in public though. Like, nah, that's a bad look. Like he like literally said that to me. So when I say I'm very comfortable with this man and having the honor to wear his collar, it's because he loves every part of me. And that's the difference. It's not just a fetish thing. He really cares about me. That's the difference, y'all. So, like, what I'm saying is that there are a lot of black men who want to be attracted by white men because that makes them feel valuable because we have been conditioned that whiteness brings value, that it makes our credit scores goes up. It makes our value of who we are goes up. It makes people look at us different. It makes people treat us different. And so we want to be in proximity to that whiteness because it brings something to us. And relatively it just doesn't. And it's so sad and I hate seeing it. And I think um, validate your motherfucking self. I don't need validation from white men or people I'm attracted to. I don't need the validation of who I'm attracted to. I don't need that. I don't need it. I would like validation from people that I'm attracted to. I would like validation from my friends and family and whatever. But once all they gone, like for instance, if my daddy died today, hope to God that he doesn't. The validation that he gives me is good. But if I don't have my own validation, my self worth, I'm not who I am, and I'm not gonna be who I am. Like, no, I need to validate my motherfucking self. That's what matters more. So I don't know. I don't know. It's so weird that a lot of y'all sit up here and argue on the internet about not dealing. Like, there's a few people that like, oh my god, I'm just dealing with so much racism in the community, and it's like, are you really dealing with racism in the community, or you just haven't found your tribe of people to hang out with? Because I deal with it too, and I kind of ignore most of it at this point. Because like, I'm not gonna beat nobody up over them saying some stupid shit. Because I feel like sometimes I will say this, and then I'm gonna say this. I do believe that there are white people who say things like the BBC term, or I want your BBC, or I like you because of this, or I want you because of that. It's because there's other black people who accept that shit and are okay with that shit. And they like being fetishized because it gives them the attention and the validation that they want. So they go for it. And so white people, they like a lot of white people will do that shit to gay, or a lot of gay white men would do that shit to black men because they know it's like, oh, I can get the dick if I say these magical words. I want your BBC, because it's going to make you feel flattered that somebody wants your BBC. It it really is. I'm not assuming this. This is something that I know that white people do, because I actually talked to a white man about this, and I said, that's not acceptable for every black man. You have to watch how you approach black people when you use that shit, because there are some black men who like that shit, and there's some who do not like that shit. And there's literally groups of like aces of spades. If y'all know what that is, y'all know what I'm talking about. That they like dominating white men, and there are white men who even have this shit tatted on their bodies because they just love being fucked by black dudes, and especially like black dudes with really hung ass. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like, there are black people who make themselves a fetish, and so I think for some white people who are just attracted to black men, they just go to any black guy and be like, "Oh my god, I like black dick. I like black men. I want you this way," because this is what they're conditioned in their head to, go after, because there are some black men who like doing that shit. Which, yes, it's fucking weird. Like race play. It's all weird. It's very weird. I don't get it. But again, there's so much nuance to this conversation that I just feel like is deeper than what we think. But I will say this too: as a black gay man who identifies as a bear, we do also have to stop. We have to stop. Other black gay men have to stop like dogpiling over on black men who do want to find community within the bear community and want to have a bear type of theme space. Like, yes, there are multiple other places who do, like, I forgot the guy's name. I should have looked it up before I did the show, but there's a guy I think in LA who does a bear party that is centered around blackness or black identity or POC identity. And I think that's actually dope. I mean, and then you kind of have like Big Boy Pride, but I feel like Big Boy Pride is very like black gay type thing, and it could be anybody, but it still kind of to me have that bear theme to a degree, just very black. You know what I'm saying? So when I think about um that, I think about like, why are we doing this to our people versus like calling them out? Let's start calling them in. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm not calling these people out. All I'm saying is like, have some respect for yourself. Get the fuck up off your knees, sis. Okay, you like white men. That's fine. I'm not even tripping off the fact that you like white men. You know what I'm saying? As long as you're not like saying white men are better or superior to other races, or superior to black people, then yeah, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with what you like. Because even people think that I only like white men just because I don't want to fuck them. They automatically go to like, oh, you only like white men. But my proximity is mostly white folks here in Portland, Oregon. Simply. And I've never ever based my attractions off of race. Just never have done it ever. But, you know, I feel like black gay men dogpile on top of black men out there who are not really problematic, but really are just looking for a community. You know, yes, the bear community was not, thought of with us in mind, but there are things outside of our race that really did make up things of why we wanted to fit in. Being fat, being black, or not being black, but being fat, being a bigger guy, hairy, doing certain things, being more masculine or whatever. Like those things did matter, and so that's what gravitate people to, or other people who have those aesthetics, not their race, but those aesthetics, to go to those environments. And I think everybody should feel comfortable going into an environment where they don't feel like, you know, where they don't feel like they have to change up of who they are to fit in. And I think that's one of the biggest things, because I've always felt like, damn, I got to be this person for everybody to know who I am. I had to learn, certain things about what was going on in the bear community. I had to know watch certain shows that I didn't watch because, all the bears at this bar watch these shows or do this, or I had to talk a certain way or look a certain way or dress a certain. I remember being like that when I first came out. I was like, what the fuck, and why am I dressing like this? And then, like, as I got older and I started fucking growing up and like becoming more myself and started like accepting myself, I started realizing like this is who I am, and I'm gonna show up every single time this person because this is who I am. It's very important to do that. It's very important to do that. And so again, I just think that we have to stop dogpiling on top of other bears because of that. At least the ones that are not problematic. Okay? At least to me. But anyways, I do have some questions for you guys that I want you to discuss down in the description or the comment box down here on my YouTube video, or even over on Spotify. Just make sure y'all just go down there and comment. I'm gonna ask y'all these questions, and I want y'all to answer them, or answer one at least. But I want to hear what y'all got to say down in the comments. Okay. So the first question is: are friendships supposed to be organic or representative? Second question is: does every photo that you take need to represent society, or reflect society, I should say? Um, is diversity something you cultivate naturally or curate for appearances? When does when does representation turn into tokenism? Are we fighting exclusion, or are we policing people's private lives? And this question of them all, which is corny, but I had to ask it. Who actually benefits from judging someone's guest list? Like, who does that? Who benefits? I want to know. I want to know who benefits from judging someone's fucking party guest list. I don't get it. I don't get it. So yeah, ask those questions. Please ask those questions down in the description. Do it. Please do it. But we're at the end of the show, y'all. I just want to say thank you guys for liking, sharing, subscribing, and I really do appreciate this. But before we go, I really do want to say this right quick, is that I really do I really do care about representation and inclusivity. I really care about those things, and I believe in both of those things. But I also care and believe in having authentic relationships. I don't want to be tokenized, and you shouldn't want to be tokenized either. Because at some point, when we worry about the optics, are we really creating real fucking friendships? Are we? Are we really creating real genuine friendships when we care so much about the optics, bro? That's my thing. But anyways, I just want to say thank you guys again for liking, sharing, subscribing, and fucking with your boy. I do have some new shows coming out this week. I am going to be dropping a Bubba's React very, very, very soon. I think this Saturday I'm going to drop one, maybe, but just bear with me. But I really do think that this Saturday I will be dropping something. Um, and then I do have to do my bariatric. I know I've been telling you guys, and it's post month. It's almost post month 5 in like 2 weeks. So I do need to drop this shit very, 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 very soon, right? very, very, very soon. Because I'm already on month 4. So I'll drop it next week, most likely. But I am going to be recording it again. And I'll tell y'all what happened and why it took so long. But anyways, I still want to say thank you guys for bearing with me, supporting me, and loving on your boy. I really do appreciate that. But I got to get off here and get ready to meal prep because I got work in the morning. And it's getting a little late here. So I got to really get my shit together. All right. So I'll see y'all when I see y'all. Peace.